So in this question, we are going to see an operating system 2 marks question, which is from GATE 2019 and it's based on the topic of CPU scheduling. So let's see what the question is. Consider the following 4 processes with the arrival times and their length of CPU burst as shown below. So we have 4 processes P1, P2, P3, P4 and we have their arrival times and we have their CPU burst times. Now, these processes are run on a single processor using preemptive shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. So let's make a note of that. We are using a preemptive algorithm and it's a shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. Okay. Now, the average waiting time of the processes is 1 millisecond. Then the value of Z is. So here you can see the value of Z, which is the CPU burst time for process P4, is unknown. And that's what the question is asking. They're asking us to calculate the value of Z. So it's an interesting question because usually we are asked to calculate the average waiting time of all the processes, but here it's reverse. They have already given us the average waiting time and we have to calculate the CPU burst time of one of the processes, Z. So before we move on, let's just clear this up. I'll just clean this. And as we know, for any scheduling algorithms, we need 2 things. One is the ready queue. So let me just make a note of it here. So one is the ready queue and another thing we require is the CPU running state. So let's make a note of here, CPU running states. So let's start implementing the preemptive shortest remaining time first scheduling algorithm. Now the first process is P1, which arrives at time 0. So let's make a note of here in the ready queue. In ready queue, P1 arrives at time 0. P1 doesn't have any competition, so P1 gets picked up for the CPU running. So this is my CPU running and P1 starts running here. Now P1 will run till 1 second and at 1 second we have another process coming, which is P2. So P2's arrival time is 1, P2 comes into the ready queue. Now P1 has already spent 1 second with the CPU, so its remaining burst time will become 2 now. Okay, so at the first second number 1, we have 2 and we have 1. So if you want to follow shortest remaining time first, P2 will get picked up. So I'll remove P2 from ready queue and it will get picked up into my CPU running state. And P1 will be preempted. I'm going to strike it out and going to write it here in the ready queue. So P1 is going to get preempted, it goes into the ready queue. Now P2 will keep on running safely until 3 because the next process arrives at 3. So from 1 to 3, P2 will be running with the CPU. Hold on, P2 has a CPU burst time of 1 second only. Okay. So it will not run till 3, my bad. It will just run till 2 because it has a burst time of only 2. It has a burst time of only 1 second. So till 2, P2 will run and then it will go out of the system. So let me strike it out here. So P2 gets over at the second itself. And at the second, we have only one process in the ready queue, which is P1. So it will get picked up with the CPU. So P1 starts running. And then at the third second, we have P3 coming into our system. So let's make a note here. P3 comes. Now P3 has a burst time of 3 seconds and P1 has spent 1 more second with the CPU. So this will become 1. So at the third second, P1 has only 1 CPU burst remaining, whereas P3 has 3. So there will be no preemption as before, and P1 is going to continue for another 1 second till 4. And then at the 4th second, P1 will be terminated. Let me strike it out. So P1 goes out of the system at the 4th second. And now at the 4th second, we have one more process entering our system, which is P4. So I'm going to write it down here, P4. Okay. So now at 4th second, we have two processes, P3 and P4 in our system, and we have to decide which one to pick up. And we don't know which one to pick up because this is unknown Z. Now, before we move ahead, let us calculate the waiting time of the terminated processes, which is P1 and P2. Okay, so I'm going to clear this mess first. Here it goes. Let's clear this also. Okay, and let's also clear this. This is not required. Okay, so now we have a clean space to work on. Yes, so let's calculate the waiting time of P1 and P2 so far. Okay, so as we all know, just to quickly revise, what is waiting time? The waiting time, let me remove this. Yes, so the waiting time of a process is the summation of the time spent in the ready queue. So the time that the process spends with the ready queue is nothing but its waiting time. A quick recap of what is waiting time. So now if you focus on P1 arrived at 0th second, it got the CPU at the 0th second. However, from 1 to 2, P1 got preempted. P1 went into the ready queue. So it was waiting here from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, P1 was again with the CPU. So waiting time of P1 becomes 1. It was just waiting for 1 second from 1 to 2. Now let's focus on P2. P2 arrived at 1 second. Here it is. P2 arrived at 1 second and immediately got the CPU. And then it immediately terminated because it had only CPU burst of 1 second. So P2 never spent any time at the ready queue. So P2's waiting time becomes 0. So let me write here 0. Now, as we know, the question says that the average waiting time of the processes is 1 millisecond. Okay, which means the summation of all the waiting times should be equal to 4. If the summation of all the waiting times of P1, P2, P3, P4 is 4, then I will do 4 divided by 4 and the average will become 1. Average waiting time will become 1. It means now, let's zoom in a bit. It means now P3 plus P4 should be equal to 3. So the possible combinations are 1 and 2 or 2 and 1 or 3 and 0. These are the possible combinations of the waiting time for P3 and P4. You choose one of these pairs and we will have this summation as equal to 4. Okay, now let's come back to our CPU. Yes, so if you notice, P3 has arrived at 3rd second. P3 has arrived at 3rd second and we are already at 4. Okay, we are at 4th second. So P3 has waited for 1 second already. So why not? Let's try and keep P3 waiting till another 2 seconds. Let P3 wait for another 2 seconds and let P4 get scheduled. Okay, so anyway P4 has arrived at 4th second. P4 has arrived at 4th second. Let us schedule P4 right away at the 4th second. And now how long should P4 go? This is what we have to think upon. How long will the CPU go? How long will the P4 go with CPU? So since we want the waiting time of, since we want P4 to be selected before P3, we want P4 to be selected before P3, its waiting time should be less than 3. Okay, and we want P3 to wait for another 2 seconds. So P4's value Z should be equal to 2. Okay, so now what's going to happen is, again let's come back to our state where we were at 4th second. At 4th second we had two processes, P3 and P4. Now we are saying P4 has burst time of 2 and P3 has burst time of 3. So obviously P4 will be selected. Okay, so I'm going to strike out P4 from here and P4 will come with the CPU. It will run for 2 seconds. So from 4 to 6 P4 is going to run, and at the 6th second P4 will go out of the system. So let me strike it here. P4 will go out of the system, and now at the 6th second we have only one process in the ready queue, which is P3. So P3 will get scheduled, and P3 will it has a burst time of 3 seconds, so it will run from 6 to 9. Okay, now with this value of Z, let's find out the waiting time. Let me remove this. So if you focus at P3, P3 came at 3rd second. This was his arrival time. The arrival time is 3 seconds and it got scheduled at the 6th second. So P3's waiting time becomes 3, whereas P4, it arrived at 4th second. This was its arrival time and it got the CPU at the 4th second. So its waiting time in the ready queue was 0. Okay, so with Z as equal to 2, we have waiting time 1030. The summation will be equal to 4 and 4 divided by 4 will be equal to 1, which is what they have given. The average waiting time of the process will be 1 millisecond. So and the value of Z will be equal to 2.